Good day, students. Today we will going to expand further your learnings about division of decimals. For today's lesson, we will going to discuss division of decimals up to 2 decimal places by whole numbers and division of mixed decimals up to 2 decimal places. For our table of content, we have number 1, we will going to have a review on multiplication of decimals. First lesson, we will going to divide decimals or mixed decimals up to 2 decimal places by whole numbers. Number 2, we will going to divide decimals up to 2 decimal places. And lastly, we will going to divide decimals or mixed decimals up to 2 decimal places. So let us start with our overview. In multiplying decimals, to multiply decimals is just like multiplying whole numbers. You get the partial product and then get the sum. Count the numbers of the decimal places in the factors and put the decimal point in our product. Just like, for example, this one. Okay, when we multiply, just multiply our factors. It is just like multiplying whole numbers, but the difference between this is that we need to count our decimal places and put that one in our product at the end. So for this one, we need to count how many decimal places do we have in all. We have 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 decimal places, and we will going to put that one for our answer. So for this one, our product here is 9,440. So this is the time that we're going to put our decimal point. We have 3 decimal places, so move our decimal point 3 places to the left. 1, 2, and 3. So this will be the position of our decimal point. And for our final answer, we have 9 and 440 thousandths. Okay, it's very easy. When we multiply decimals, just multiply our factors just like how we multiply our whole numbers, and then just add or count our decimal place and put that one in our product at the end. Okay, so this time, let us continue with our lesson for today. In this lesson, you will learn how to divide decimals or mixed decimals up to 2 decimal places by whole numbers. To do this, divide them as whole numbers and write the decimal point of the quotient directly above the decimal point of our dividend. Now let us try to have this example.
And his 2 friends bought some food at the canteen. The total bill was 65 pesos and 70 centavos. If they share the bill equally, how much will each one pay?
So, to solve this problem, divide 65 pesos and 70 centavos by 3, and let us follow the steps below. So for this one, let us divide. So the first thing that we're going to do is we need to align our decimal point. That is the very first thing that we need to put in our mind. Align our decimal point to our quotient. Okay, so after we align our decimal point, that's the time that we're going to start dividing. So 6 divided by 3, that is 2. 2 times 3, that is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Okay, next step that we're going to do is we need to bring down 5. So 5 divided by 3, that is 1. 1 times 3, that is 3. And let us subtract 5 minus 3, that is 2. We cannot divide 2 by 3, but we need to bring down 7. Okay, this time we can now divide 27 by 3. 27 divided by 3, that is 9. 9 times 3, that is 27, and 27 minus 27 is 0. So we still have 0 to be bring down, so bring down 0. 0 divided by 3, that is 0. 0 times 3 is 0, and 0 minus 0 is 0. So for our final answer, therefore, each of them will pay 21 pesos and 90 centavos. So here are the things that we need to put in mind when we divide. In dividing decimals with mixed decimals up to 2 decimal places by the whole number, divide them as the way you divide whole numbers and write the decimal point of the quotient directly above the decimal point of our dividend. Okay, now let us try to have another example here. We have here Meljun sold 15 kilos of calamansi and earned 431 pesos and 25 centavos. The question is how much each kilogram of calamansi juice or calamansi cost? To follow or to solve this problem, let us divide 431 pesos and 25 centavos by 15 and let us follow the steps below. So we have here, let's divide. So let's start with aligning our decimal point at the top. So after this one, let us continue now dividing. 43 divided by 15, we have here 2. 2 times 15, we have 30. The next step is that we need to subtract 43 minus 30. The answer here is 13. Okay, we cannot divide 13 by 15, so we need to bring down 1. So 131 divided by 15, we have here 8. 8 times 15, that is 120. And let us now subtract 131 minus 120. The answer is 11. Okay, so we have here 112 because I bring down already the 2 to make it 112. Now 112 divided by 15, that is 7. Okay, always remember that our quotient now here is after the decimal point because I already bring down the 2 and this 7 here is now placed in our decimal side, okay, or in our decimal part. Okay, so let's continue dividing. 112 divided by 15, that is 7. 7 times 15, that is 105. Okay, now let us subtract 112 minus 105. The answer is 7. Okay, so let us bring down 5. 75 divided by 15, that is 5. 5 times 15, that is 75, and 75 minus 75 is 0. So therefore, each kilogram of calamansi costs 28 pesos and 75 centavos. Okay, so this time let us proceed to our next lesson, and that is dividing decimals up to 2 decimal places. So we have here a sample problem. Michael has 36.36 meters of string. He cuts it into pieces measuring 0.06 meters. How many pieces of string will he get? For this one, we need to follow the following steps to divide decimals up to 2 decimal places. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is change the divisor into a whole number, moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So, number 2, move the decimal point also of our dividend 2 places to the right also. And lastly, that's the time that we're going to divide as whole numbers. Okay, so this is how we move the decimal point. Since we're dividing, okay, into a decimal, we need to change, or we need to move the decimal point, this one, to the right to make this 6 as a whole number. So let us move this one. How many places? I think this is 2 places. 1, 2. So 0.06 will now become a whole number 6. So when we divide, or when we change our divisor, when we change it into a whole number, when we move its decimal to the right, we need also to move the decimals of our dividend to the right also, depending on how many times we move the decimal of our divisor. Now, while ago, we move our decimal in our divisor part 2 places to the right. We need also to move the decimal point to our dividend 2 places to the right also. So let us move 1 and 2. And that makes it a whole number 36. Okay, so since we already moved the decimal, okay, that's the time that we could now start dividing. Again, before we divide our decimals, we need to move first the decimal point of our divisor to the right and make it as a whole number. Okay, after we move the decimal point of our divisor, we need also to move the decimal point of our dividend. And once it's already done, then we could now start dividing. So we have here 36 divided by 6. So how many 36 we can find in 6? So that is 6. 6 times 6, that is 36. And 36 minus 36, that is 0. So it means to say, okay, that Michael can have 6 strings out of his 0.36 meter of string. Okay, so this time, let us continue our lesson in dividing mixed decimals up to 2 decimal places. So we have here a sample problem. Martha bought 66.25 kilograms of mangoes. She packed this into packs containing 13.25 kilograms each. How many packs did she make? Okay, so this time, the same thing. If we need to change the place, or we need to change our divisor into a whole number by moving our decimal point to the right. So for this one, let us move this one to the right. 1, 2, and it's now a whole number, 1,325. And since we move our decimal point in our divisor 2 places to the right, we're going also to move our decimal point in our dividend 2 places to the right also. Okay, so we have here 66.25. Move our decimal point here 2 places to the right, and this will become 6,625. Okay, since we already now moved the decimal point of our divisor and dividend, that's the time that we could now start dividing. So we have 1,325. Okay, 6,625 divided by 1,325. Okay, so we have here 5. 5 times 1,325. The answer is 6,625, and 6,625 minus 6,625, the answer is 0. So therefore, Martha can make 5 packs of mangoes. Now, things to remember: to divide mixed decimals up to 2 decimal places, we need to follow the steps. Change, number 1, change the divisor first into a whole number by moving the decimal point 2 places, or how many places, to its right. To move also the decimal point of, we need also to move the decimal point of the dividend 2 places, or how many places, depending on how many places you move your divisor, or the decimal point of your divisor to the right. And lastly, that's the time that you could now divide the numbers as whole numbers. So, thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, you can write that one in our comment section below. So, thank you so much, and hope to see you again.